Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Crake was published in 2003. It is the first book in her Mad Adam trilogy. The novel jumps between two time periods. One is before the plague, when the world is still functioning. The other is after the plague, when only one ordinary human remains alive. That survivor calls himself Snowman. Before, his name was Jimmy. He is not a hero, he is not a scientist. He is just a man who happened to survive. He spends his days talking to a group of new human like creatures called the Crakers. He protects them, he lies to them, he drinks himself to sleep. This lecture covers three theoretical aspects. First, ecology and the Anthropocene. Second, bioethics and the limits of genetic engineering. Third, the plasticity of human nature and our ability to change what we are. We will connect each theory to the novel's narrative, and we will see how Atwood's fiction speaks to our present moment. The Anthropocene is the geological age of humans. Scientists use this term to mark when human activity became the primary force shaping the Earth's systems. Before the Anthropocene, nature ruled. Volcanoes changed the climate, asteroids caused mass extinctions, ice ages reshaped continents. Now, humans do these things. We pump carbon into the atmosphere, we push thousands of species toward extinction, we melt polar ice caps, we change the chemistry of the oceans. Rossi Broiderty defines the Anthropocene as the historical moment when the human has become a geological force capable of affecting all life on this planet. This is a staggering idea. A single species, ours, now determines the fate of millions of others. Oryx and Crake shows what this looks like in practice. The novel's pre plague world is deeply damaged. Coastal cities have flooded. The air is unnaturally hot. Strange weather patterns are normal. Animals only exist if corporations find them profitable. The independent, wild, natural world is essentially gone. Atwood calls her work speculative fiction, not science fiction. She explains the difference carefully. Science fiction involves things that cannot happen faster than light travel, alien invasions, magic, etc. Speculative fiction takes things that are already happening and pushes them slightly further. Genetic engineering is real, climate change is real, corporate control of science is real. Oryx and Crake simply asks, what if we continue on this path for another 50 years? The answer is terrifying. The world of Oryx and Crake is divided into two zones. There are the compounds and the pleblands. Compounds are gated corporate cities. They are surrounded by high walls, electric fences, and armed security. Inside, the air is clean, the lawns are green, the houses are comfortable. Scientists and their families live here. They have good schools, good healthcare, and good food. The pleblands are everything outside the compounds. This is where ordinary people live. Crime is everywhere, pollution is everywhere, disease is everywhere. The pleblands are what happens when corporations abandon public welfare. No one takes care of anything. The poor are left to die or to kill each other. Craig grows up in a compound. His father is a prominent geneticist. His mother is also a scientist, but she leaves when Craig is young. She cannot stand what the corporations are doing. She sees the destruction and refuses to participate. Her disappearance haunts Craig for his entire life. The novel shows ecological collapse in nearly every scene. Consider the animals. There are no normal animals left. Instead, there are pigoons, pigs genetically modified to grow human organs for transplant. There are wolfdogs, dogs bred to look friendly but programmed to attack on command. There are raccoons, a combination of skunk and raccoon created as a luxury pet. Nothing is natural anymore. Everything is designed, patented, and owned. Even the atmosphere is managed. The compounds pump out clean air for their residents. The plebeians choke on smoke. Atwood actually presents an ecological double discourse. What does this mean? It means two competing visions of ecology fight throughout the novel. The first vision says nature is sacred, humans should protect it and leave it alone. The second vision says humans have already broken everything, now we must manage the planet like a machine. Craig believes the second vision completely. He looks at humanity and sees a plague. He thinks humans are a virus destroying the host planet. So he designs a cure, a virus that kills 99.9% of all humans. Then he creates new beings called the Crakers who will live in balance with nature. Is Crake an environmental hero, or is he the worst mass murderer in history? The novel refuses to give an easy answer. It forces you to sit with this question. Next, we come to posthumanism. Posthumanism is a philosophical movement. The core idea is that the human is not fixed. It has changed throughout the history. It will continue to change. There is no eternal universal human nature. Traditional humanism says humans are special. We have reason, we have souls, we have free will, we have rights that animals and machines do not have. This tradition goes back to ancient Greece and continues through the Enlightenment. Posthumanism challenges every part of this. Where is the clear boundary between human and animal? We share 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees. We share 50% with bananas. We share genes with bacteria. The boundary is fuzzy. Where is the boundary between human and machine? We wear glasses. We use pacemakers. We have cochlear implants. Some people have neural interfaces. The line blurs more every year. Where is the boundary between human and environment? The air in your lungs was just outside. The water in your body was in the ocean. The bacteria in your gut outnumber your own cells. You are not a closed system, you are a node in a network. Atwood's work challenges Enlightenment ideals of the human as a rational, autonomous entity. Instead, humans are fragmented, hybrid, and ecologically embedded. We are not islands, we are connections. Let us apply this to the novel. The Crakers are the central post-human figures. They are humanoid. They walk on two legs. They have faces, hands, and language, but they are not human. Craig designed them to be better. What did Craig remove? He removed the need for belief. The Crakers have no religion, no gods, no spirits, no afterlife, no concepts of sin or salvation. He removed the capacity for art. They do not paint, they do not carve, they do not dance, they do not sing, except they start singing anyway. Craig thought he could eliminate the aesthetic drive. He was wrong. He removed hierarchy. The Crakers have no leaders, no bosses, no kings. No one gives orders, no one obeys. They make decisions by general consensus. He removed sexual jealousy. Female Crakers go into heat at different times. So males never compete for mates. No fighting, no possessiveness, no heartbreak. He removed racism. Their skin changes color based on sun exposure. They cannot see permanent racial differences because there are none. He removed the need for killing. The Crakers are herbivorous. They eat leaves, grass, and roots. Their digestive systems break down cellulose efficiently. They produce their own vitamin C. They never need to hunt. He removed aging. The Quakers live for about 30 years. They stay healthy and strong until the very end. Then they die peacefully in their sleep. No disease, no decline, no suffering. Are these creatures human? No. Are they post-human? Yes. They are what comes after. But here is the twist. The Quakers start developing culture anyway. They begin singing songs about snowman. They tell stories about Crake. They build a shrine to him. They treat snowman as a prophet or a god. Craig believed symbolic thinking of any kind would signal downfall. Yet symbolic thinking emerges spontaneously. The Quakers cannot help it. They need meaning. They need stories. They need something to believe in. Atwood seems to be saying that the drive for meaning is deeper than biology. You can redesign the body, you cannot redesign the soul. Next is plasticity. Plasticity means the ability to be shaped and reshaped. Human nature is plastic. We are not born speaking English or Japanese. We learn. Our brains change based on experience. We adapt to different environments. But Craig takes plasticity to its extreme. He does not want to educate humans, he wants to redesign them from scratch. He treats human nature as clay that can be thrown away and replaced with something better. Think about everything he removes. He removes religion, art, hierarchy, jealousy, violence, aging, and almost everything we associate with the human condition. Crake and Oryx reject all of humanistic art and thoughts whatsoever. They are not reforming humanism, they are abandoning it entirely. Yet the novel shows that plasticity has limits. The Quakers change in ways Crake did not predict. They become more human like, not less. They develop rituals, stories, and a sense of the sacred. This is the deep irony of the novel. Craig tries to escape human nature by engineering new beings, but those beings start becoming human anyway. You cannot run from what you are, not even if you are a genius, not even if you destroy the world. Then comes bioethics. Bioethics is the study of right and wrong in biology and medicine. When is it ethical to modify a living thing? Who gets to decide? What are the limits of scientific intervention? Oryx and Crake is a nightmare vision of bioethics gone wrong. Let me give you three examples. First, the pigoons. These are pigs genetically modified to grow human organs. The idea is to provide transplantable hearts, livers, and kidneys. But the pigoons also develop human like brain tissue. They might be conscious, they might suffer, they might have something like a mind. The novel does not resolve this ethical problem. It just shows that it happens. Corporations grow pigoons by the thousands. No one asks whether the pigoons have rights. No one asks if they can feel pain. Second, the Bliss Plus pill. This is Craig's invention. It is a miracle pill that does three things. It protects against all sexually transmitted diseases, it acts as a perfect contraceptive, and it contains a hidden virus that will kill most of humanity. Craig sells the pill as a solution to overpopulation. People take it willingly. They think they are protecting themselves. They are actually participating in their own destruction. The bioethical violation here is staggering. Craig does not get consent. He does not inform his users. He treats human beings as lab rats for his extinction experiment. Third, Quakers themselves. Craig creates an entire new species without consulting anyone. He decides what the good life looks like. No violence, no art, no religion, no jealousy. These are his values. He imposes them on an entire people. Crake might be an ecological savior because the Quakers are eco-friendly per se. They do not pollute, they do not farm, they do not build cities, they live lightly on the earth. But is that enough? Can you save the planet by killing everyone who disagrees with you? The novel says no. Crake also kills Oryx. He tries to kill Jimmy. Snowman then kills Crake. The cycle of violence continues. Even the man who wanted to end violence cannot escape it. Let us return to Rosie Broidotti. She writes about post human relationality. Traditional humanism sees the self as separate. My body ends at my skin. My mind is inside my skull. I am an individual first. Then I enter into relationships with others. Broidotti reverses this. She says you are made of relationships. The bacteria in your gut are not you, but they keep you alive. The air you breathe connects you to every other living thing. The technologies you use change how you think and feel. There is no isolated self, there is only a network of connections. To be post human is to accept this, to stop pretending that you are a sovereign individual. The Crackers' virtues can expand the possibilities for humanity and human consciousness. They show us what we have lost: community, cooperation, acceptance of difference, living lightly on the earth. Snowman is the opposite of relationality. He is completely alone. He talks to no one who can truly understand him. He drinks himself to sleep every night. His identity is complete because he has no one to reflect it back to him. He suffers from aphasia, the loss of language. He forgets words. He cannot tell stories anymore. His sense of self disintegrates without the mirror of other minds. But at the very end of the novel, Snowman hears voices, other survivors. He starts walking toward them. He might choose connection, he might choose relationality. The novel ends with a question, not with an answer. Will he step into post-human future, or will he cling to his lonely human self? We need one more important distinction: transhumanism and posthumanism. Transhumanism and posthumanism sound similar. They are actually quite different. Transhumanism wants to upgrade humans, better bodies, longer lives, smarter brains. It is still humanist at its core. The self remains and the self is just improved. Posthumanism asks harder questions. What if the self is an illusion? What if improvement is not the goal? What if we need to stop being human at all? Crake is a transhumanist. He wants to make better humans. He removes flaws, he adds features, he optimizes the organism. But the Crakers are not really transhuman, they are post-human. They do not share human desires, human fears, or human needs. They are not upgraded humans, they are something entirely different. Crake rejects the ethics of humanism completely. He does not believe in human dignity. He does not believe in human rights. He does not believe that human life has special value. This is what makes him so dangerous. He is not trying to fix humanity, he is trying to replace it, and he almost succeeds. Let us also talk about Jimmy. Jimmy becomes Snowman after the plague. Before he was a words person, as Craig called him. He studied rhetoric, he loved metaphors, he was terrible at math and science. Craig was a numbers person. He understood biology, chemistry, and physics. He could design viruses and engineer new species, but he could not understand love, he could not understand grief, and he could not understand why art matters. The novel pits language against science. Jimmy can feel, love, and mourn, but he cannot build anything useful. He cannot save anyone. He cannot stop Craig. After the plague, Jimmy becomes Snowman. He wears a dirty bedsheet and lives in a tree. He protects the Crackers and lies to them. He pretends to their profit, but he is falling apart. Snowman suffers from aphasia. He loses his ability to use language. Words slip away from him. He cannot find the right terms and cannot tell stories anymore. This is the deepest loss in the novel. Without language, Snowman loses his identity. He cannot remember who he was. He cannot imagine who he might become. He is trapped in a hollow present. The Crackers do not have this problem. They never had complex language, they never had stories, and never had a sense of history. They live in an eternal now. They feel no regret and hold no grudges. They never apologize because they never do wrong. Is this better? The novel does not answer, it shows the difference. We also need to talk about the ending of the novel. The Crakers are the future. What kind of future is it? On one hand, they are peaceful, they share food, do not fight, they take care of each other, they ask Snowman questions and trust his answers completely. On the other hand, they are not free. They cannot choose violence, cannot choose selfishness, cannot choose to believe in God or make art or fall in love the way humans do. We can read Crackers as the post human subjectivities, and if you do, the tone of this dystopian novel can be reversed as the hopeful utopian one. This is a radical claim. Dystopia becomes utopia if you change your perspective. The Crackers are not suffering, they do not know what they are missing. They are happy by their own definition. However, Crackers may in fact eventually be erased by their larger development as a people. They will change and will become something new. That new thing might be just as flawed as humans. Atwood leaves it open. The novel does not tell you what to think, it shows you possibilities. You decide which future you would choose. Let us summarize the main lessons from Oryx and Crake. First, the Anthropocene is real. Humans have changed the planet permanently. There is no going back to some pure natural state. The question is what we do now. Second, human nature is plastic. We can change, we do change, but change is not always progress. Craig changes everything and creates new problems he never anticipated. Third, bioethics matters. Just because we can do something does not mean we should. Craig could create new humans. The question is whether he should have. The novel suggests the answer is no. Fourth, posthumanism asks the right questions. What is a person? Where do we draw boundaries? How do we live with radical difference? These questions have no easy answers. Fifth, language and empathy are fragile. Snowman loses both. The Crakers never had them. Atwood suggests that these messy, inefficient, beautiful qualities might be worth preserving. Thank you.